Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning into my channel today and watching this video. Before you continue watching this video, if you're watching my video as usual, please just pause the video first. So as the title of this video suggests, I had thought it will be useful to give some explanations to some of the things that are happening currently in my life. There are so many things that are happening, but this is just one in particular because I have seen a couple of you in the comment section trying to ask me in regard to how to get connected to me further apart from just seeing me and have the access to talking to me in the comment section below. So you're asking for my social media handle, and maybe some of you had already followed me to my social media handles, the Instagram, Twitter, which I used to be very active back in the days, but I am not very much active now. I just scroll to see the very most important stuff. I have a Snapchat, which I just do it and for saving memories because I thought it's easy that way. And I have Facebook, I have Instagram, I have Twitter, I have Snapchat, and I have YouTube, which I think also I consider it to be a social media. They also say email, and then some people say LinkedIn and all that, but for me the social media is what I've just mentioned. So let me take back the story, a little bit. Let me just give you some background stories of how I came into the digital, how I came and signed up into this digital space. That was back in 2013 when I got my very first smartphone. I remember my mom bought my very first phone. It was a very small pink Samsung. I was very happy because I had just come from graduated, finishing my secondary school, and before that I was getting this pressure that everyone who was in secondary school that I knew had already signed up for Facebook, because I think that time around Facebook was the only thing. So if you are in Facebook, when you go back to holidays, you would visit places, take pictures, post, do the get-togethers, and just post them and show around that we just just friends at school, and this is what we have and what we do back at school. So there was that pressure as a little teenager of wanting to have a smartphone, because also that shows you're very you're keeping up and all that. So I didn't pressure my parents so much, but they asked me, if you graduate and perform very well, we would buy you a phone. So that was somehow a motivation. So when I got my phone, I was very happy. I remember exactly the day that I went into signing up for my Facebook, creating my first email and signing up for Facebook, and starting following all the people that I've been asking for friendship. Just the fact that you see someone you knew who had somehow such a big status at school, is asking you to be their friends online. You're like, wow, this is very nice. It was such a big thing. So that is what went through me, and then just seeing what other people are doing, the schools that I've went to, and yeah, so that was it. So in my word, sitting today looking at that experience back when I was 15, 16, I feel like I jumped over being in a social media and being a digital citizen, because I had seen other people doing it and it looked cool. It's not that I understood the word, because I think we are in just normal everyday life, we do the same thing. There's things that we don't really understand, but we do it because other people have done it, or we have not even been pushed by other people, but we are seeing it looks cool to them, and then we just sign up and go into it without fully understanding what it takes to be that person. So yeah, fast forward, I did my first book, and then as years goes on, you just advance into getting new phones, even an expensive phone, more than what my parents had even owned, because they would just do anything out of their way to make me happy. So Then I went into Twitter, I went into Instagram. I think Instagram came very, very much later. But anyways, what is the essence behind sharing all this story is just very recently I had realized that I have this struggle of existing in the social media. Yeah, in other words, is I have been addicted to social media. I have that addiction. Yes, maybe also there are some of you that have that, but we tend not to see it as addiction. We just tend that to see that as, you know, I consume a lot, I spend a lot of time, but and to just consider addiction to be to only some of these, you know, things that have been already been said all over again. Like you can be addicted to alcohol, you can be addicted to cigarette, you can be addicted to sex. So social media addiction is really sounds to be very minor. It's not such a big deal, but if you're watching this video and maybe you didn't consider social media extreme use of not being able, you know, to live and tolerate, like just losing control, and you feel like you live by it, it's also an addiction. So I have had a social media addiction that I've been struggling with, and I had realized that because of reading books and listening to some podcasts and now checking myself, and even like, you know, just there's so many symptoms that I saw, and I realized that I was very lucky to realize it on my own without necessarily I think my mother was telling me. My mother is she does not have any social media, she just have WhatsApp. So she has been speaking out for many years, just telling that, why are you sharing this? Like, why would you show? For her, it's like, why are you showing everyone? It's not that you're just, because we had moved from having the, you know, album, a physical hard copy of, you know, taking pictures and putting them in your album at home. We have moved it to the digital world. So most of us, we have we have somehow fabricated the whole experience of the social media that is not we are showing off people, rather we are putting memories of the pictures, experiences that I have taken into, you know, our digital spaces. That is how we have fabricated and, you know, coated it, and it looks really, that one sounds even more genuine. So that is what I've actually been telling my mother, like, you know what, I am just saving them for my memories, that next years in the future I should be able to see them and just, you know, get the memories and show my kids and everything. But I think for me it was even more extreme in such a way that I had done, after reading the books and listening to like TED Talks and podcasts, I had come to compare what I had heard and to what has been my own experience. There's some different symptoms that I could see for myself, but the few that I've really came to see was, you know, when you check your phone, usually there's an application, or even the iPhone especially, I'm not sure about the Android, you're able to see your digital consumption, how you which applications, what the activity of your phone. So for so long, what was always coming up to me was, you know, social media, naming it Instagram. I have been consuming. It's not that I'm posting so much, or it's just that I have been consuming. It could even show, you know, hours, and it's not that I'm staying for just 1 hour in a day, for like 2 hours, 3 hours in a day, like scrolling and checking everyone's life. What is she doing? How does she know this one? Oh, where did they meet? Oh, she traveled. Like, you know, there's so many little details of, you know, gossip that we just find ourselves somehow attached to that lifestyle, and then it's getting into a habit and a continuation of events. So that at the end of the day, when you look into it, what the activity is doing is to connect all the little minutes you had spent in a day, hours, milliseconds, and then it compiles it into how many hours. Then I would see for a day, maybe I have used 5 hours of my day not constantly, as I said, just focusing on social media. So how much time have I been productive? Or maybe I would be doing something and then I'm like using my phone, maybe cooking and then I'm like using my phone. Or we say we usually tend to multitask. So I might be working and I have my phone with me. I might be reading a book, interesting, but all this also is bringing into, you're having this broken focus because of a sort of a distraction that came. I think this video is going to be very long. Maybe I'm gonna cut it into parts, but yeah. So what really went down is I had come to realize that even if when I go out and meet with the people that really matter to me, I am constantly not concentrating. I'm speaking for myself. I would see other people doing it, but everyone has their own definition of what addiction and what extreme is. But for me, it was just extreme. I was not present in most of the things. I would be willing to go to a place, not for the sake of my own, for experiences, but experiences did not really matter, but rather sharing it on Instagram, sharing it on Snapchat, sharing on my social medias, just to share. So I'm like, okay, at the end of the time, why do I share? Is it really that what I was telling my mother, that I'm doing it because I have to store it and to be able to see it in the future? But no. So I was pretty much not enjoying what I have paid for, the moments. Rather, I am just going there, sharing, I'm here. So I'm not saying that is bad, but I'm saying that I think that was very much diverging from what my values were. And I'm very happy to have realized all this, and until to come into this conclusion of, what, this was addiction, and I'm now in the process of, curbing this addiction. So yeah, so things that have really been making me, I was speaking of the things that had really made me realize that I was addicted to this. The fear of, missing out. If I just log out my social media, not logging out, just maybe going because I'm working or I'm at school or something is happening that needs somehow to focus, and then I turn off my data, or I just leave my data on, or then I somehow don't have my phone all the time. In the evening or later, when I get time to get into the scrolling pages, the feeds and everything, I start to panic. I'm like, oh my god, what had happened the past few hours? Like, oh, this happened, why did I miss out, what happened? And then I would go to Twitter. If there's one incident that had happened, you would want to go and see, at least for me, I would go to 3 or 4 several social media to see how people and how that particular thing have been discussed. So if there's one gossip, maybe, then I would go to Twitter, to the account of that person or that thing, and then I'll go to YouTube, see what other YouTubers, other news, everything that has been spoken about. So it's like, it was fear of missing out. I feel like I'm missing out. And then if I don't share a picture and then if you are starting your YouTube channel, they usually tell you that there is that principle that you link your YouTube channel with the social media so that your audience can go out there and see what is happening on your daily basis, because YouTube is not as much daily, rather the social media is very much daily. I hope I was heard in that one. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was my Bluetooth speaker. So so you also want to keep your audience, to make them, they keep up with your life. So then you start posting pictures, stories, I don't know, polls, questions, asking them for recommendations. So the fear of missing out, I don't want maybe to not have subscribers or followers. I would want people, just, I hope I understood the fear of missing out. And then fake friendships, that is also another topic, is that there are people that they are very incredible, very nice